everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing my January reading wrap up. As of right now, I've read 7 books this month. I am currently reading a book, but I wanted to film it now, so I'm hoping I'll finish that in February. Anyway, yeah, I read 7 amazing books, 6 fantasy, 1 contemporary, and all of them were at least 4 stars, and yeah, let's talk about them. Okay. I think I have reading vlogs up for most of these books, but I'm going to talk about them anyway because why not? So the first book that I read this year was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I gave this one 4 stars. This book essentially is about this orc, I think she is, called Viv. She has been, you know, going around killing creatures, like mythical creatures, and eventually she decides that she doesn't want to do that anymore, so she goes to this little town which I've forgotten the name of, but she goes there to open up her own coffee shop, and no one in this town has ever heard of coffee before, so it's very interesting seeing her setting up this little shop which is called Legends and Lattes. She meets this girl, she's some kind of creature but I can't remember what it is. What is her name? Tandri. She is pink, which I thought was quite interesting. And yeah, there's a little bit of romance in this book, but it's very small, very light. And this book is honestly the perfect read for this time of year because it's so cozy and fun, and I loved this book. It made me want to go and get a coffee, and I hate coffee, so I still hate coffee, but it did make me want to like coffee, you know? And the characters in this book are so cute, the atmosphere is everything, and I highly recommend that you read this if you're looking for a cute, low stakes, cozy fantasy where the main topic is coffee and like cake, basically. Next up, I read Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood. This is her first YA contemporary book. I did annotate this one. I love that I gave it pink tabs. I thought I would tell you that. I gave this one 4.25 stars. This book follows Mallory and Nolan, Nolan is a world chess champion and Mallory has not played in 5 years? I don't know, she hasn't played chess in a long time because of something that happened to her, which you find out later on in the book. And then she ends up going to this charity chess competition, I think, and Nolan is there and she wins a match against him, and then he does everything in his power to play another game of chess with her. So this book was really fun. I loved the romance, I loved all the chess talk. I used to be really into chess when I was younger, not so much now, but I did really enjoy reading about it in this book. The main character Mallory, I liked her. I did like her sisters as well. She's got 2 sisters who she kind of provides for the whole family. Yeah, I liked Nolan. He was cool. Something about the ending of this book though did not make it a 5-star for me because I was really enjoying this book and I got to like the last little bit and I wasn't loving it. I loved the ending, however the bit before the ending, I guess, I just didn't love for some reason, and I'm not even really sure why. However, I would recommend this book if you're looking for a cute romance in between some fantasies. That's what I read it as and I really enjoyed it and I highly recommend. Next up, we are going to talk about my favourite book of the month, which I read on my Kindle. This is Have a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I will put a picture here. This book follows Dora. Her name is Theodora, but she calls herself Dora, and when she was a little girl, a fairy came and stole half her soul, basically. So she's walking around in London. She's now like 18 maybe, I think, and she has half a soul. So she doesn't feel emotions, like she just doesn't have emotions really. She's just very like neutral. So this is very difficult for her because it is set in the 1800s? No, I think it's the 1900s. I think it's the 1900s. So it's very difficult in that sort of society for her to not feel emotions. And then she meets this guy called Elias. I can't remember what his last name is, but I love him. He's a magician and he basically goes on this kind of quest with her to, it's not a quest, they don't go anywhere, but they're trying to get her other the other half of her soul back, essentially. And it's very short. I think it's like 240 pages long, and I loved this book so much. I gave it 5 stars. I can't remember if I've already said that, but I gave it 5 stars. And I loved Dora as a main character. I thought it was really interesting to have a character who just didn't feel emotions the same way that most characters do. I loved Elias. He was really funny, really witty. The banter in this book is top tier. It's so good. I'm now obsessed with this genre because it's kind of like historical fantasy. It's so good. The ending of this book, honestly, I loved it because I thought it was going to go a certain way, which I wasn't going to be too happy with if it went that way. I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, but it didn't go that way. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I think it does discuss quite a few important topics as well, and I loved every second of it, and I cannot wait to read the sequel or the companion book. Maybe I'll read it this month. I don't know. I'm very excited for that though. Next books are all in the same series, so bear with me here. First of all, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I gave this book 4 stars. I thought it was a very good start to the series. I like Feyre as a main character. Tamlin as well. I know everybody hates him, but he was, you know, he was fine in this book. I loved all the world building and the magic system in this book and learning about all the Fae. The last bit, I would say this was a very kind of chill book until like the last 100 pages when it went a little bit crazy with the plot, but I loved it. We met a certain guy at the end here who I was very excited about, and yeah, overall I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a good starter to the series. Straight away I read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. This is the sequel to A Court of Thorns and Roses. I gave this book 5 stars. This is my second favourite book of the month. I loved every single page in this book because Feyre goes through a lot of character development. I really liked how her character developed. A certain guy was in this book more. I love how their relationship developed as well. We also were introduced to some new characters in this story, and I love every single one of them. They are some of my favourite book characters. I will say with this series, it's not as good as Throne of Glass. Like, I was trying not to compare to Throne of Glass, but Throne of Glass is better, in my opinion. So yeah, 5 stars for this one. I really enjoyed it. The ending of this book broke my heart into a million pieces and then kind of fixed it again. I don't know. The ending was very emotional for me. I read A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. This is the 3rd and kind of final book in the main trilogy for the series. Again, I did tabs and they're all pink as well. Apparently pink tabs was a theme for this month. But I did enjoy this one. I gave it 5 stars. I don't know if I was rating it now. I would maybe drop it to a 4.5. I don't really know, but I'm leaving it at 5 because I did enjoy it. First first like 150 pages of this book was so good, and I was here for all the drama and all the chaos, and I was loving every second. And then the middle, I didn't love the middle of this book. I would say the reason for it is definitely because I don't really care about the plot. I love the characters in this book so much, and this is where I was really comparing it to Throne of Glass, because in Throne of Glass there are chapters where it's just plot and it's just like a load of like plot dump basically, and I love that in Throne of Glass because I'm really interested in the plot as well as the characters, whereas in this series I prefer the characters to the plot. I just didn't really care about like the plot that was happening in this story. So that was a little bit boring for me when there were these info dump chapters where I just didn't care. But the ending of this book was really good. I cried, I got annoyed, a lot of emotions, and I did enjoy the end to this book. So that's why I gave it 5 stars. However, not my favourite in the series. The Court of Mist and Fury is definitely my favourite. And then the last book so far that I've read this month is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. A lot of people hate this book, and I honestly think it might have been my favourite. Like, it was just the characters. I think I gave this 5 stars. It was so good. Like, it was just the characters celebrating winter solstice, so basically Christmas. And I think there was a lot of development in this book. Some characters were annoying me. Feyre was a little bit annoying at certain points with, what is his name? Lucian. But apart from that, it was really good, and I loved how it really developed how all the characters were feeling after the war in the third book. So I really enjoyed this one. I don't understand why so many people hate this. Well, I do understand it, but also I loved it. So I gave it 5 stars. And that is all of the books that I read in the month of January. Honestly, 7 books for me is pretty good, so I was very pleased with this. And yeah, these are all in, pretty much all of them are in reading vlogs, so you can go check those out if you would like. And yeah, that is the end of today's video. I hope you have enjoyed watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!